And I think we're live.
Well, that means I can send out this tweet now. Start promoting it.
Let's do that.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
we'll see if we actually
Hey,
are
everybody.
live. If not, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we're definitely live on YouTube right now. So let's just send out that tweet and we can get started.
Ooh, thanks for the retweet, man. I appreciate it. We'll see how many people actually like us. Like they'll drop everything on demand and just listen to us, or if everyone just pretends to care about what we have to say.
That's weird, because I'm on YouTube right now, and yeah.
Oh, yeah, it does say it's waiting.
Oh, beginning. Interesting.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not
I think
what
we might be streaming at we're streaming at a different URL.
Oh.
That's funny. I wonder if we can sync them up at all. Or if I should I just repost this other link? That's actually working?
Let's repost the link. Yeah, let's just repost the link. It might be quicker for everybody.
Oops, updated link. Alright, I just tweeted out the updated one. We'll see what happens.
For everybody.
Yeah, sorry everyone if you joined. Let me drop the link to this one in the old chat actually. And for anyone who is watching, this is the first of these live streams, so thanks for bearing with us.
Yeah, there's quite a few different issues that we got to get through for live streaming, grouping people's webcams, screens, audio. Yeah, there's quite a few. But I think.
Cool. I think that we might have people pointed to the right live stream now, which would be good.
Else they'll be able to see it. It's going to be uploaded afterwards, and they can view it for posterity. We'll try to trim the beginning.
Perfect. We can crop all this part out.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Cool. Well, you want to kick us off, Pablo?
Yeah. So I'm Pablo Payard. I am the founder of Hashing Systems. And if you've heard of Composer or the different wallets and tools and services that are available on Hedera, we created quite a couple of them. And we're joined here today with Ben and Cooper. Ben, how about you tell us a little bit of the different projects you work on?
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, just a bit of a background on what I did so far with Hedera. So my name is Ben Chevalreau, and I'm working on Hedera for the last, I don't know, maybe 2-3 years now. I'm working now as like CTO of Acre, and we are doing so we are doing two main applications. One is to secure file sharing, collaboration stuff, like think it like as a Dropbox on top of Hedera. And the other one is about data visualization and data analytics of as well, data tracked on Hedera Hashgraph. So yeah, I'm working for Acre.com. And on the side as well, so I'm working on this lottery game called PlayHash. And PlayHash is using Composer and stuff like that. So I
think a lot of people didn't know that you built PlayHash, Ben.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's still like a hidden secret in the community.
And yeah, and just a big or good news, I don't know that. So today we decided that we are going to redesign completely, this application, because let's be honest, it doesn't look really good. It's where you can see that my UI UX, capabilities are quite limited.
I think this looks great, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it could be better, I believe. So we are going to change that, and And so yeah, so today you can pay, using so you can pay using Composer, you can pay using as well the Hedera wallet. And so yeah, that's it. So I mean, Pablo is doing like a demo of it. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that you are going to win. And
I'm just trying to win some money while we're at it. Let's see, 15251. So this is how easy it is to play two.
so no, this one you need to put your account ID, yours.
On my account. I
Yeah.
think I did it backwards.
Come
What
on,
is my account ID? 24535.
But yeah, Ben, this is
No, when you're working.
I don't think a lot of people know.
Yeah, you won.
Oh, you did win. Congrats.
Yeah.
It sounds like you said you guys are redesigning it, or what are you guys' plans?
So first, what Pablo did was like a bit annoying. Like, he had to bet, and then he had to put his account ID in, like a search page to get the result. So it's definitely like annoying. So we want to make it like a bit more streamlined. And we want as well to add like a bit of confidence, because some people like, they played and they lost and they say, oh, you are a scammer, and just give me back my money. And I just say, okay, first, I'm just going to explain how it works. And after that, I just explained it. They were like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. You are not a scammer. I say, no, it's just like completely fully automated and stuff like that. So if you see, you have like this magnifying glass next to the H bar amount. So we are going to explain a bit more how the whole number is computed. Oh yeah, it's not updated. I need to update that. It's still to Hashgraph. I need to update that to Kabuto or something else, but
yeah, or Dragon Glass maybe.
or Dragon Glass, yeah. I need to update that. I completely forgot. And so we are going to update that to make it a bit more, to bring more confidence and more trust into PlayHash.
That sounds
that's gonna be
really
awesome.
cool. And then do you maybe want to talk a little bit about your Composer integration and how that happened?
Yeah, so
what was the inspiration there? Because I think you guys actually, Pablo builds this Composer browser extension that we'll talk about.
Yeah.
You build PlayHash, but I actually think that you guys integrated and built these things without, ever talking to each other. Or do you want to talk about how this happened?
Yeah, no, I mean, it happened like very quickly. So obviously we want in PlayHash to be open, to any like, payment capabilities. So we first integrated with the Hedera wallet, and after we continue with the H-bar price wallet, but that has been deactivated after. And after Composer were just new, I think, when I started to integrate it. So I just saw that online, and it was like, to be honest, I should check my code, but it's maybe 5 lines of code to integrate with Composer. It was like so simple. I was like, oh yeah, cool. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah. It's very simple. So today you can get started by you can call enable if you want to enable it, which will connect and allow more transactions to happen. And you basically don't need to do a lot of stuff for making a function call. So even for things like deploying a smart contract, if you look at this is actually going to be doing multiple transactions. So there's separating the chunking, because transactions on it there are 4 kilobytes. So if you have a contract, for example, that's 1 megabyte, you're going to have a lot of different files that you have to loop through and upload individually and then put them together. This will make it easier, as it will basically do those steps for you and just give you a simple deploy contract, a function call, and return.
That's super cool. I think it's really awesome that you guys were able to integrate, and probably only took you guys like an hour or a couple hours to test and ship, which is pretty crazy.
Which brings us to console. So console is the UI that we created.
A very loose agenda today, so if you have questions or anything, just let us know. And I think that this, I don't know if Pablo mentioned it, but this is just the first of what are going to hopefully be more continual or regular occurring community live streams. whether it's, hashing systems or, other teams that are building on Hedera. We would love to get more of these going and hopefully do this every Friday and just, talk to you about everything going on. So yeah, just a little context there. And, if there are things that you guys want to talk about, or if you want to be a guest or, things like that, let us know in the chat or get in touch with one of us.
Or Twitter.
Yeah, we're easy to find people, at least in the Hedera community.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, we're all in different states, at least, maybe even different countries. So it's always good to be able to connect with the community and share what we're working on.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing that I would like to share with everybody. Yeah.
Before moving on to console, Ben, do you want to talk about your play hash and the giveaway?
Oh yeah. So obviously, last week, it was last week or the week before, I don't remember. So Hedera obviously, announced that now Ledger is like compliant or compatible with HBAR.
Yep.
So we organized, this contest to win HBAR, where people were, able to. So you had to give like your Twitter or your GitHub username, and what we did is was like you go to this page, so it's closed now, but you go to this page, you provide your username, and we were sending like an HBAR transaction. It was 1 HBAR, so it was like the price that you have to pay to get your ticket, and we are publishing like the username into the memo field, and it was like our way to say, okay, we gave you a ticket, it's on the Hedera network, and it's completely open, and you can see it. And to select the winner, a lot of people were like, okay, but how do we know who's winning? So we followed that exactly the same approach as play hash. So what we do is like we are taking the transaction hash. Obviously, this information is publicly available. It's kind of random, and so I mean, you can't cheat, on your transaction hash. And what we did is like we kept like the first 8 characters, and we obviously it's in hexadecimal, and we transform that from hexadecimal to decimal. And it was just like the 20 account with the highest number won like a ledger.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So basically the
It's
idea.
Hashgraph.com or.
No, unfortunately, Hashgraph is dead.
It is dead. That was a very dramatic way to.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Because I cried so many nights.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh.
This is my
Well, here we go.
or my entry to that lottery that you just talked about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You can go to Twitter at Cooper_Coons and find my Twitter handle. But basically, we were trying to give away a bunch of ledgers to thank the community for all their support and celebrate the fact that you can now store HBAR in a hardware wallet, which for a variety of reasons you might want a hardware wallet. And so we were wondering, how can we give these away in like a transparent, a verifiable way that also highlights why you might want to use a public network like Hedera. And so Ben already has this super cool lottery type application. And so I think what he did, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you basically just forked your code base from PlayHash and kind of re-architected it into, instead of betting, you're logging people's usernames. And based off those usernames that you're logging, we have simple and verifiable cryptography where you hash it and then convert it like you just talked about. And I could prove that, if I won this ledger, that I should be the one who gets it.
Exactly. Yeah. So
we're talking about a fraction of a penny. So I'm seeing this submission here cost.
Yeah, for Ben
0.01 cent.
That is quite ridiculous compared to the cost of running that transaction on Ethereum or however much RAM you would have to lock up on EOS. I think it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
But we were really, really excited about, not only the fact that Ben already had this lottery, but the fact that we could now give away things in like a transparent way. I don't know if you want to go to, let me try to pull up the tweet here. We can shout out anyone who has won. But if you have one, we did just announce these yesterday. Or was it the day before that, Ben?
I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was
I
yesterday.
appreciate these links.
Oh, yeah, of course. And so basically this is, you can find out how to convert your score here, and maybe Ben could walk us through it if we want. But if you are one of these people, you have actually just won a Ledger Nano S through this transparent lottery that we were just talking about. And so I think it says slide into our DMs by March 12th to claim your Ledger Nano. So please get in touch with us. We can't hunt everyone down. It's not a great thing in the cryptocurrency industry. But we're really, really excited about this. And for whatever reason, if you want to attest to it, say you don't trust us or think someone else won, the steps are right there. And we have a nice link for you where you could verify. Yeah. Super cool stuff. Congratulations to, I see fake Paul Bugasia, which is funny. Actually won. Congrats, Paul. Give you a shout out.
And Nick here.
Oh yeah, and Nick, congrats. That's a big deal. Anyone who has been in Hedera since the early days knows Nick as the engineer behind hash info. So I would hope that he already had some type of hardware wallet, but if he didn't, now he does.
Yeah. Also, Benjamin here.
I do not know who that is.
Benjamin, he's part of Hashing Systems. He's finance. He doesn't use Twitter, so he was using one of these accounts that we own. And
interesting.
Congrats to him.
Yeah. Please let us know. And let us know if there's other integrations, giveaways, things like that you'd like to see in the future. Heard a lot of good things about this one, but we're really thankful for Ben and the Play Hash team for helping put this together for us.
No problem.
Pablo, before I interrupt you, I think you were going to talk a little bit more about Composer and some of your recent releases. Is that what's on our agenda next year?
You'd be correct. Someone was reading the agenda. Yeah. So we have been tirelessly working on the beta for console.
Someone was reading the agenda. Oops, sorry about that. Trying to see if there was any questions in YouTube.
And one of the things that we will be releasing very soon is the consensus service inside the console. So you'll be able to go add a new topic, call it Hashgraph weekly, choose an expiration or not, and set up a key list.
Oh, nice.
So theoretically, you can block people from submitting if you want to. And you can easily create this topic. And once that's submitted, the topic is created successfully. There's still some real-time storage here that needs to be fixed. So this doesn't appear until after Kabuto receives it. But as you can see, it takes like a little bit. And I actually accidentally did it on mainnet.
If you want to play out with beta software, maybe we can send them this link, Pablo.
Yeah, so this is available. Just mind you, if you use this service, you're not guaranteed. Well, you're guaranteed to use new features, but you won't be able to transfer them over to regular console as it's a separate environment.
That makes sense. Your stuff in beta will not leave beta, which is probably for the best.
Right. Yes. Although we're working here to store information for developing purposes. So here I am submitting different messages. And as we're getting the messages back, you'll see them appearing here. And for example, here, this was testing. And if I go and grab the transaction hash, I can go check on Kabuto here by simply pasting it on the transaction hash area. And you'll see 24,535 amount and a memo or message here, so you can transact. And basically, here we go. So here's the topic we just created. And this opens up the door for quite a few things. First and foremost, you have access to HCS via the browser. So you'll be able to now create applications and things that work directly on the browser. We hope more applications like Simple Ledger will be able to be enabled here, where you can now tokenize assets on the consensus service. And if you want to learn more about how to use it, you can go here on the GitHub repo, the Hash.js GitHub repo, where you simply copy the script tags. Also, you can copy just the JavaScript files here that explain how to use it. And this is an example of a transaction on Hedera. So you just put the variables you want, except the from, which will be provided by Composer. And this will trigger a message inside Composer and give you the pop-ups. But if you want to figure out how to call the consensus service, you just go here and search consensus. You'll find every function on the SDK is available. And in an easy to use, well, it's an easy promise. So you just call the function with the data, and you'll get either error or success.
Pablo, we have a question.
You can update your
from Philip over here asking, would that work with WebAssembly apps? You know, my intuitive answer, please check me if I'm wrong, is that WebAssembly is just like the compile time spec. And you could compile and use WebAssembly with just about any of this. It would be kind of like a technology you see behind the scenes. So yes, you can totally use it with WebAssembly.
It's great that Phil brought up WebAssembly. So now you're enabling users to use the consensus service, and you're just enabling them to send messages, verify those messages, and create new topics. Now, what consensus algorithm you use to validate those transactions? So you may have a stream of events inside HCS. That stream will just be messages. You can create a WebAssembly application that parses those messages and generates the status of your application. And that's where we will be moving towards with future applications.
Yeah, you could use WebAssembly as any, across any part of this infrastructure, whether it's for your server infrastructure, for your actual application, your application network. That's one of the beautiful things about WASM and how portable it is, and you can really write anything in it. Great question.
So there's some interesting things here. For example, if you read about Simple Ledger, you're able to look at how different tokens can be built on HCS, because it's a very similar structure where you are sending messages using an OP return, which translates
I think you're moving a
in
little
Hedera as the memo field.
Audience, Pablo. You were talking about.
Yeah, I was just throwing some information out there for those who know.
Oh yeah, no, it's great information to know. But so basically, by using this protocol and UI you were just walking us through, you could come up with different ways to do tokenization. It seems like you're inspired by the Bitcoin Cash team and what they're doing here.
Right. Yeah. So you have different commands. For example, Genesis, Mint, Sem, and Commit. So theoretically, whoever creates the Genesis call would hold the baton, is what's called in this system, the baton. And theoretically, only this individual will be able to mint new tokens. But if, say, I create a send transaction to Cooper and Cooper's account, then theoretically, he'll be able to now send tokens to somebody else because the system will validate his transactions. And it's, there we go. So this offers a lot of
people talking about. tokenization on HCS yet. I think it's very the early days. So it's cool to see you approaching it from this angle and inspired by the Bitcoin Cash team. It'll be interesting to see how many different types of tokenization end up on HCS. I think that there could be a lot and a lot that we have not begun researching yet, which is always a great place to be.
Definitely. One of the coolest things that I would encourage everyone to read about is Hashgraph. And this is
You're really loving Bitcoin
similar to
these days, Pablo.
Well, when you look at the background and how it all works, you essentially are committing messages. And these messages can be committed by anybody, but if they follow a certain pattern, then you're able to count them as valid. And only valid messages commits to the message stream could be compiled to generate the valid state. And so you are able to write something in a very similar way to Ethereum Solidity, but now on Hedera.
Interesting. Yeah. Philip had another question. Would you use this for a game that doesn't interact with fiat? I'm going to assume that he asked that when we were talking about Simple Ledger. You could use this to do any type of asset or tokenization-based transfers, whether that's a token that represents a stable coin and it's triggering a fiat transfer. You could use this as like the event queue that is triggering fiat transfers. You could do that, or you could do actually like cross-chain transactions. If you look into what Bitcoin Cash is doing with Simple Ledger, I haven't looked too much into it. I'm not into the Bitcoin Cash space, but speaking with Pablo, it sounds like you could actually do like cross-chain transactions as well, and some types of interoperability settlements. Yeah.
But unless if a user wants to actually run transactions through a game, I would recommend using the Hedera, the regular Hedera Solidity VM, which is able to
contract.
Yeah, on a very lightweight contract where you're not storing a ton of information, you'll be able to trigger payment.
Ben might be able to answer. Philip's trying to figure out how to make apps tax safe. I'm sure Canada has very different tax obligations than Hedera. But do you have any suggestions or comments to tax safety? You're a very familiar Hedera developer.
So to be fair, so I don't know much, about Canada. I know more about France.
Okay. Well, take your tax advice either way.
And that's fun because so I'm working as well on a startup in France to do like crypto tax declaration.
Okay.
And we are trying as well, to add like a layer of proofness and trustness on which transaction, because for example in France, and I believe it's the same everywhere in the world, that banks, like traditional banks, reject more and more cash money from exchange or to exchange, and they want to learn, they want to know where does that money come from. So they want to track the different network, and can you track back from which account it came, and it's obviously very complicated. But we are trying to work as well with some French bank to identify that which is the level of information that you need to be able to trust a transaction and to trust an account. And it's like crazy. I mean,
it's a tough problem to solve for sure.
It's a tough problem, but it's like for me two complete different world, like the traditional banking system and the crypto world system. So they try to get some information that are almost, it doesn't really make sense in the crypto world. So they're like, okay, dude, but that it doesn't work themselves. So it doesn't work like that. So
getting like IP address, device numbers, current physical location, things that might be required to validate an application for a government banking application.
Yeah,
really does not lend itself well to peer-to-peer decentralization.
But even so, this year, in France, we changed like legislation, like regulation on crypto and stuff like that. But last year they were like, if you hold like a coin for more than 2 years, I believe you can get like a discount of 10%. Say, okay, but how can you prove that the coin that you bought in 2013 is the same as the one that you have on your wallet today? Because you use many exchange, you transfer wallet, so this is not the same coin. I mean, it's not something that, and it's sometimes it's quite complicated to make the bridge between the traditional banking world and crypto world.
Yeah, the one thing that came to my mind was just adding in another multi-party payment. So basically, you can add as many parties that you need to pay. If you could build some type of application network where you're doing state, local, federal at different kind of abstraction points and lump all of those into different multi-party payments, right? Like, so I know 2% of this transaction is a state tax. I know 4% of it's a federal tax. You can totally build that natively into all HBAR payments and it would be super easy. And we're very excited about ways that we can do real-time tax like that. Philip did say, I'm thinking like here in the States, we are taxed on anything that can be traded back to fiat. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know whether that's a true statement or not, but you could have a bridge asset between an NFT or a fully digital asset, which is convertible and is a fiat to crypto convertible instrument. And like you could have crypto kitties. Those crypto kitties aren't tradable or liquidatable on a market, but you could trade crypto kitties for Tether, and Tether can be traded to fiat. I don't know if that answers your question at all, but yeah, that is, I think
we're definitely in the early stages.
Yeah, everyone's waiting for better tax advice.
Right, like there's a company that recently raised $5 million
really
in
nice
Dallas.
Team. Really recommend you check out Zabo if you aren't familiar. They just raised
Zabo.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just a quick showcase. So these guys do tracking of information. So they don't necessarily edit or transact with your accounts like other companies like Fortmatic or MetaMask or Composer. They track your accounts for investments, for taxes, for banking. So let's say you're a financial account website or application like Robinhood. Well, you can't maybe show the assets that a user has if they're not being held on their accounts on your platform. So what you can use Zabo for is to essentially track those accounts without actually having to build the infrastructure to track with the nodes on Ethereum or the nodes on Bitcoin and even on the nodes on Hedera.
They also have a drop-in browser wallet, which is kind of cool. I've played it before. Where it's kind of like Composer, where you can drop in like a CDN tag or an embeddable wallet, and it'll like kind of pop up for you, and it's pretty sweet. And it actually supports HBAR, which is really nice. So if you're building, a wallet or website, check it out. I'm not saying it's a competitor with Composer, but they do solve similar problems.
I would love to see that one. I haven't seen that yet at the moment. I've only
found if you go to their docs,
transaction history.
I think that was like their core thing, is that it was originally a wallet, and now they're kind of growing and branching into some of these other spaces. But the wallet was really nice when I set it up. Philip, great questions. Thank you. There's a bunch of work to be done on the tax front, and we're very excited to be working with teams, like Zabo, that are providing customer level support, the large enterprises around the world that have either taxing, accounting software, those types of things, and also governments, and, just educating them and making them aware about why it might be treated like a traditional or a new type of asset class, how that fits into tax models. Those are all conversations that Hedera would always like to be on the forefront of. And we're very optimistic about hopefully getting some clarity in the next. You never know when it's coming, but hopefully we'll get
in the next election cycle.
Oh, geez, it's too soon. But this is great, Pablo. I think the one other thing that we were going to do that I really was excited about was integrating or starting to integrate Composer with an example website or a game. Does that sound like where we're at in this agenda?
I think we're 40 minutes in. We may just save that one for next week. So for those who aren't aware, we're looking to build a game on Hedera while using Composer to streamline it, so we can convert a simple game that's already available online, like say this Flappy Bird. Although we'll probably find one that might be easier to play.
I think it's better than it's hard to play. I think that's kind of the point. You can't have everyone winning. But I think the idea was, what's a game that people liked that had some kind of mind share for a little while, and how can we bring it into this new type of gaming paradigm or a new type of ecosystem? And so I was thinking, and I talked to Pablo about this, how could we integrate a game like Flappy Bird with Composer? And so what we were thinking of is kind of, when you start the game, like an arcade, maybe you should have to put in some tokens to be able to play. Someone is hosting this game, someone developed this game, you need to kind of pay them. So I think that would be like the first thing that I would think about doing. But then you have like these players paying into some type of, Hedera account. So what I thought about would be cool is if we basically had a leaderboard where it's, this is the person who's currently had the highest score. And every time that someone plays, you put in a token into that account or, a jackpot account.
Or even a smart contract that can function as a wallet.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it would be a contract or an HCS-based AppNet or something like that, where if you beat that high score, you would actually get, all of the tokens that have been deposited in the game between when you're playing and someone last won the jackpot. So I think that we're going to hopefully build some of that next week, and hopefully kind of build. We can
introduce a little bit here. It's as easy as adding the CDN with Hash.js, and you'll be able to access all the functions. But we'll set up like 30 minutes to go over it next week.
Yeah. I think the goal here is to kind of build like a cadence where we come back every week and, we build either a little different part of the game or build a different game or kind of take people in a different direction based off what people want to hear about that week. But if you have any suggestions or if you're like, this would be really cool to build, don't build Flappy Bird. You still have time. Give us better ideas.
Yeah.
We don't have any.
If you want us to build like a decentralized Dropbox on Hedera or a chat application.
We have the chat app. We're set there.
With Composer,
Okay, yeah.
So that you hold your keys and you transact in a completely decentralized way where the person providing the website does not ever see any of the files you have. It's just a conduit to Hedera and maybe a small UI.
Okay, Philip had 2 more questions. You're my hero today, Philip. Thank you. We should just get you on the live stream next week so you can ask the questions in real time. First question, how do you deal with stutter as the state catches up with user actions? That's a great question. So it presumes that when this website is rendering Flappy Bird, that every single event will go to Hedera. Hedera will reach consensus and send it back to the website for the website to be, able to continue playing. That's not really a model that's going to be as scalable as this real-time game. So we're thinking about it from 2 different ways. The first way is saying, I trust the server that is hosting and rendering this game, and no one can, and unless someone hacks my server, the deposits, etc., will always be honest, and their score will count. There's a bunch of other ways though where you could actually log all the events, say every time you click a button, every time you go up and down, so XYZ position and position of these.
And maybe every time you cross.
Yeah, you could log all of that over HCS. And so that way you wouldn't have something that's real-time enforceable in the game, but after the game,
you only enforce it at the very end. Yeah.
Yeah, after the game's over, say you hit the bottom, you log one more message on HCS that's like game over, then you can have a server, a contract, a application network that would basically replay those HCS messages and then use that log of messages to determine who they should pay out based on their deposits and who has the highest score. So a bunch of ways that you could
If anyone can get more than 10 points in this game, oh my god, this is very, yeah.
I think that's the best part, actually. I was talking to Donald Depot and someone else about this a few days ago, and he was like, someone's just going to score 1 million and no one's ever going to be able to beat it, and it's going to be fun for like 2 days. But yeah, it seems hard. It'll be fun. You could do like running weeks where it's the high score for a week. You can do a lot of things. All the code, whatever we build on these live streams, they're super casual. We will try to open source all the code. We're building it on a live stream. We may as well just give it to you guys as well.
Maybe
exactly.
there is some ideas as well about, let's say, if you want to help someone, like for example, if I want to help Pablo, I will send, some token to slow down or to, to make things like quicker.
Oh, that would be interesting. Like power-ups?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah, it will be something like that as well. So it will send some messages in the consensus service, and it will be like obviously received, and the UI will change based on that.
Oh, that's interesting. That reminds me, did either of you ever play Guitar Hero? Where you could like battle people and you could send them attacks to either speed them up or slow them down. That would be really, really cool if I could send an HCS message and be like, let's mess with Pablo over here. that would be good. Philip, I thought about a lagging cheat detector. Yeah, that's basically what it is if you logged every event on Hedera, it would be, depending on your application, if real time to you is 7 to 12 seconds, you can prove those cheaters in real time. If your game is not gonna deal with 7 to 10 seconds, you can have one that comes in post hoc and then validates the winner there. Those are kind of the models. But great question.
You can have multiple friends in like a multiplayer game, and everyone's validating each other. And there may not be money involved, just the game itself, and maybe a point, and then later validation. We can integrate these as we go. So we'll try to see what we can come up with.
And then if everyone was content with how they played the game, maybe before they knew everyone else's score, then you make the deposit. Like you get a best out of 10 or something like that. But what else did you want to show us here?
That's the main thing, because everything else we've shown people. You have access to every service on Hedera now, so you'll be able to. Thanks. Soon we'll add project functionality, so you can separate these projects, and if these are of any kind of hint, we'll have a couple other features coming in soon that will make it even easier to work with teams and provide more information through Kabuto and other cloud providers, so you can track how popular your games are, among other things.
Ben, what else do you have for us today? What are you excited about?
So it's what I said that to Pablo before the video. So that we developed some course for university in Georgia, and everything is based on top of Hedera. And I wanted to make it like compliant with, like, not compliant, but like to redo it using Composer, but I had no time. But maybe in a couple of weeks I will be able to show you so we created an application called Instagraph, which is like Instagram, but on top of Hedera Hashgraph. So
Okay, great name.
so we are planning like to move it to be like fully compatible with Composer, and we'd like to like open source as well that.
Wow.
So yeah, just like it will be like a demo app of how you can use as well Composer and how you can combine all services exposed by Hedera.
That's super cool. We're definitely gonna have to get you to come back and give us a demo of that whenever it's available.
Yes, sir.
And then what else are you guys up to? How's Acor? How's Jim and the team? What, you guys doing anything new? Anything since I think you were on our other live stream about a couple weeks ago.
So yeah, no, really lately we were like really busy. We had like a lot of questions again related to our coronavirus tracker on how it was connected to Hedera Hashgraph. And I think that by giving like this clarity on what we are doing, and that we can track, like the data provenance and stuff like that, people were like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. We could use that. So we are in contact with a lot of companies interested by that, and obviously not really a fun topic, but we are working, as you know, on mortality data and substance abuse. So we are getting a lot of meeting with coroner offices, with state departments. They are saying, I mean, what you are doing, it's awesome, because for us, to get this information, and that we know that we can prove this information is the one that has been captured, in the coroner office through like, state departments, the federal agencies and the governments. People are very interested by that. I
That's
just
awesome.
need I just need to clone myself and do like maybe 3 or 4 of myself, and I will be happy.
That would be perfect. Just 4 forks of Ben. That's the whole development team. That's awesome. Pablo, anything else that you want to chat about today? I don't have too much on my end. I am very excited about ways that we can get more things like this, live streams going, getting our community together in one place. I'm not sure if you guys have ever even had a chance to talk before this. I think that this is a great opportunity for different projects, different people to come together, show off the cool things that they're either building or interested in. And so really excited about this new format, and hopefully we can get some following here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have a lot of other information. I think we covered pretty much everything that we needed to today. But if anyone has any questions or ideas, or maybe something that they would like to show that they're building on Composer, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And if you have any questions, always Daily Stamp, great place for you to catch on the new information. And we can answer questions. You can even tip each other HBAR directly. So if someone has paired their account like Justin here did, you can tip.
Cool.
And this doesn't touch Daily Stamp. It goes directly to the individual.
That is really cool. I think this might be the first tipping application I've seen on Hedera, which would be pretty exciting.
Yeah, let us know if you have questions about it. I'd love to see more people use it. And
yeah,
see you guys next week.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Thanks Pablo and Ben for being our entertainment for the day, and I hope everyone has a good weekend. Like we said, we're going to try to do this on a more recurring basis and build more things that are either just fun or the community wants to see. So if you have any suggestions, let us know. Like if there's a game that you're like, this would be cool if I could pay HBAR with, just ask away. Last question is Composer Chrome only?
No.
So you can use it on
Composer works.
Brave is at least my guess.
You can use it on Brave.
Cool.
I can claim rewards. Cool. Let's see. So yeah, it should also work here.
For those who don't know, Brave is a fork of Chrome, basically.
Yeah.
Nice that it works.
It also works on Opera, although I don't have that one downloaded on my computer.
All these Chrome derivatives, though, it should work, which is nice.
Yeah. and hopefully soon Internet Explorer. But we're exploring possibility of just using more lightweight version of Hash.js on the browser.
Cool. Well, we will
which
look forward to
we'll
that.
be announcing soon.
Thanks everyone for joining. We will see you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.